Story 1. I research for about 30 minutes before making any online purchase to ensure I'm getting the best deal while maximizing cashback and using the right credit card with the best offers. All this to save $30 that I easily waste in 5 seconds when I'm drunk. Story 2. I still reuse my Ziploc bags, grocery bags, and paper bags, and you get the idea. Edit. Okay, reading this thread, I have more frugal habits than I realized. Story 3. I will never in my life buy candy at the cash register of the supermarket. If I am tempted, I will simply walk back into the store and buy a whole bag. But I'm not paying 1.5 euros for a single Snickers when I can buy a 6-pack for 3.5 euros in the back of the store. Story 4. Rich people throw out amazing stuff. If you know someone with a truck, you can go around the wealthy areas on garbage day and get all sorts of furniture, appliances, and clothing. A little cleaning and maybe a few minor repairs, and you have lots of stuff to use or sell. Story 5. I still take hotel shampoos and soaps, disposable chopsticks from restaurants, wet wipes, and condiments from random food places. Whatever that horsey sauce is from Arby's that nobody ever eats. If it was free, guaranteed I've got some in a drawer at my house. Story 6. I turn off the shower while I lather up. I'm still poor, but I grew up in a community where there was not a lot of water because it was a poor community. Plus, we didn't have a water heater, so we had to heat up water on the stovetop. We bathed with a 5-gallon bucket of water. Story 7. Go up and down every aisle in the grocery store comparing the cost of a product. Also, compare sizes to cost. For example, I could get one large bottle of mustard for $5, but the smaller ones are on sale for 2 for $5, and I'll be getting 4 more ounces for free. Story 8. I grow vegetables in my garden from seed and preserve the produce like Grandma used to do. There is a change jar on the dresser where all the coins go. Roll them up and take them to the bank. Buy practical things and buy them for life. Story 9.1. Drive a reliable 10-year-old car. Buy items at discount stores or thrift stores. Cook at home. Fly in the economy seats. Stay with friends when traveling, if possible. Focus on free activities like hiking or visiting the library. Try to do things for myself first rather than pay someone. Live with roommates. Story 10. My diet still mainly consists of rice, beans, frozen vegetables, and oats. I still shop according to sales and coupons. I still collect bottles and cans. I tell myself it's to recycle as I'm huge on reduce, reuse, recycle, but I have the urge to sell them and tell myself if there's an emergency I can cash them in for a quick $10. Story 11. I still eat many of the struggle meals I used to. I can afford better food than Hamburger Helper or canned chicken mixed in or rice now. But if it isn't broken, why fix it? I don't eat them all the time. I do try to eat healthy and buy better produce and ingredients, but on lazy days I still love a box of Hamburger Helper or, if I'm feeling fancy, Velveeta skillets. Story 12. I scour the store's weekly advertisements for sales and coupons and buy in bulk or larger quantities when savings warrant it. I don't have to, but growing up on welfare, those habits die hard. Story 13. I still do all of them. Prepay phone is a big money saver. I just don't understand why people pay $150 to $300 per month for phone service. That's more than what I pay in a whole year for unlimited 5G. Shop at ethnic stores for bulk ingredients and spices. Prepare most meals. Live in the city and walk, bike, use Lyft, or public transport because cars are a money hole. Stop buying so many specialized products. Pine Sol, dish soap, vinegar, and bleach are really the only household cleaning products you need. Shaving cream is just pricey soap. And all that smelly stuff like air fresheners, candles, and plug-in air fresheners are bad for your lungs. If you're not rotating your streaming services, you are doing it wrong. Be handy or have handy friends for when things break. Lots of fixes for expensive items like fridges or ovens are simple with replacement parts that are cheap. Know that bulk does not always mean cheaper. I'm looking at you, Costco. Story 14. We went from poverty to upper middle class in the span of 2 years after I finished my master's degree. We are still frugal. We just don't really buy stuff. We don't travel or do vacations. All of our hobbies have us outdoors doing stuff for free anyway. We save and invest the extra money. We still have our older cars and cheap apartment. We shop at Walmart and purchase thrifted clothes, buying basic and simple food in bulk and freezing it. We just never changed our lifestyle. I think the fear of someday losing it all and going back to poverty scares us, so we save what we can in savings and investments. Story 15. I was never poor, but my parents taught me to live in power-saving mode. Don't buy stuff you don't need. Travel costs cautiously. Don't buy expensive cars, as cars are purely net negative things you sink money into over time. Don't eat out all the time. Just a couple of times a year is enough. Story 16. When I buy things that come in plastic containers, such as cottage cheese, sour cream, or plastic takeout type containers, I reuse them for leftovers instead of buying the Gladware reusable ones. It's the same thing, and I don't have to worry about losing or ruining them. My fridge looks like my grandma's did growing up, but I'm not throwing away more money on something I don't really need in the end. Story 17. Accept free food. I used to be a picky eater. When I was poor, I didn't know when I was going to eat again, so I was just thankful for anything that wasn't spoiled or rotten. Be nice and courteous to strangers. I didn't ever beg for money or food. I would help out people in my community whenever I could. Open doors for people. Clean up the trash on the side of the road or a parking lot. I helped this one guy push his car 4 blocks to a gas station after his car broke down in the middle of the street. That guy gave me $100. I was able to buy a cheap cell phone that led to me getting a callback for an actual job. I taught myself how to sew. When you have almost no clothing, it starts getting to the point where you need to start reinventing your old clothes. I still patch up my suits, pants, and socks when they need it. Story 18. I still shop flyer sales. Branded products aren't always the best. For example, canned tuna. Once it's dolphin-friendly, I don't care about the brand. I wouldn't be surprised if all the cans come off the same boat and then get individually labeled. Story 19. Simply not going to the shops. I hate shopping anyway, so it is easy for me. I can go a week without spending a penny at a shop. Also, buy big bottles and refill the small bottles. For example, I buy the big ketchup and refill the normal size bottle. 1 liter bottle, $6. 500 milliliter bottle, $5. Story 20. Rinsing off paper towels, drying them, and reusing them. Unplug everything when I leave the house. Phantom power. Every time I make a sandwich, I struggle with justifying putting on 2 slices of cheese instead of 1. I still subconsciously leave the last of something, like drinks or snacks, for one of my siblings even though I live alone. Story 21. Many of these habits come from poverty for some people, and, for my family growing up, they came from a sense of commitment to saving the environment, for example, saving containers, not wasting food, reusing, recycling. I still do all these things for that reason. Story 22. Only drink tap water. It's fine in my location. No money goes to soda, hot drinks, or alcohol. This makes it easier to afford cheap groceries and maybe save up some money. I can afford to be less strict about it now, but it seems like a good and harmless habit to keep considering sugar, calories, and dental effects. Story 23. Drink free coffee at work and in the apartment lobby. Eat free at work and eat leftovers from work. Aim to work more so I can get free food at work. I aim to shower at work, but so far I only occasionally shower at workplaces because I like showering at home, but I just take short showers. Walk or take the bus to work. Use refillable soap. Buy what I can eat in a week. Fish for fish. Buy in bulk, cut it up, vacuum seal, and freeze. Use the apartment rooftop grill to save on electricity and have better grilled food. Grow my own garden on the balcony. Peppers, lettuce, chard, tomatoes, lime, and lemon. Make my own salads from my garden to subsidize the grocery bill. Bought an 8-ounce thermos water bottle and bring it with me and refill water several times a day. Aim at drinking free filtered water 8 times a day at work. Also, use it to drink free coffee and tea. Try to avoid drinking from paper cups because a coworker said there is a film to make it waterproof and that is unhealthy. Don't know how true that is, but I feel like I am being sustainable and saving on paper cups. Use a water filter at home. Try not to buy sugary drinks and just add flavors to water, like my energy tonic or salted lemon. Find free events with hosted food in our city, usually some kind of tech events, and eat at free events. Do free things like walk around the city, use my inflatable kayak at lakes instead of renting, and hike. Use my free library for internet and books. Live like a broke lifelong learning student and learn to draw digital art, write stories, research different business plans and markets, learn artificial intelligence, pattern making, jewelry making, etc. Just keep learning through free online and local community classes. I love learning, especially when it is free. So my own clothes and buy thrift clothes. I get compliments because my stuff is kind of different. Style/patterns. Pay most of the bills at the beginning of the month. Don't have a balance on credit cards by paying off credit cards as it is posted. Get my 2% from credit cards but not have to pay 19 to 27% interest because I learned the hard way that credit card debt sucks. Any extra money goes to retirement accounts and investing in stock markets. A little money is saved in a high-yield savings account for emergencies. The bank account is always low, so I am always thinking I am broke and don't really need to buy this or that. If I buy something, it should be donated or given away to make room because of limited space in the apartment. Less space, less desire for more things. I know I am not broke, but I have maintained a college student mentality for so long that I just keep at it. In some weird way, I think I am being somewhat sustainable and helping the world with food waste. Story 24. It took me a long time to realize this habit of mine stems from me growing up poor, but I tend to overstock on pantry items. I have a million toothbrushes, several spare jars of spaghetti sauce, and tons of canned soup I rarely eat. Psychologically, it stems from this subconscious fear of running out and not being able to afford a replacement later, so I better buy more now while I still can. Never mind that I can absolutely afford replacements of all this stuff easily. Old habits die hard though. Not too bothered by it, though while my storage is overcrowded, it's still nice and comfortable knowing I have everything I need. Story 25. I still do most of the work around the house, so I installed my own air conditioners. I do the electrical work, plumbing, and so on. I just can't stand spending $1,000 to $2,000 on labor when I can just do things myself, even though economically, it doesn't really matter to me. Story 26. Honestly, every single person I meet, I look over once and mentally tally up what they are worth. Comes from when I was younger, and we couldn't afford the cool sneakers or a school bag, or to go to the arcade or have a computer. I get bullied pretty relentlessly by kids who had the money to do that, so I got into the habit of making that assessment because if they had money, I'd immediately get defensive and worried, but if they didn't, I could relax. It's 30 years plus since it was an issue. I have kids, and I teach them to never bully or tease someone for what they don't have. I make it a point to never judge or disadvantage anyone based on what they have or don't have, but it's like muscle memory, and I still can't shake that habit. Story 27. Never join DoorDash or Uber Eats, etc. If I do order out, I'll go pick it up. Probably saves me $10 in what I call shipping and handling every time. Plus, I'm not going to pay a subscription fee for food. Story 28. I still make large batches of food, portion it up, and freeze it. I prepare it so I only have to cook the carbohydrates on the day I want to eat it. Whenever possible, I include vegetables, which is easy to do when they are grated. I do this each week and make about 2 meals for 2 weeks, covering lunch and dinner. After about 8 weeks, I have a good variety of meals to choose from. Then, I slow down to preparing only 2 meals for 1 week each week to maintain the stockpile and rotate different meals. Story 29. I do a lot of my clothing shopping at thrift stores. I also try to stick to the sales when grocery shopping. If an item that we regularly use goes on sale, I will stock up. I make my coffee at home and use a travel mug instead of buying it when I'm out. There are probably plenty of other examples. Oh, I also rinse and dry my milk bags. I'm in Canada, and reuse them. They make great freezer bags. I like living well below our means so we can have lots of margin and can save, invest, and help our kids. Story 30. Stop myself from wanting anything. In our capitalistic society, we are constantly told we need things, so I am really careful about not watching ads or listening to people tell me to buy things. We actually need very little to be happy, and I always remind myself of that. Story 31. I'm still poor, kind of, but I don't think I will stop hoarding things like good containers when I get rich. Something usually gets thrown away once it's done its original job, but still can be reused. I'm keeping it. Story 32. Still use the library. My family's library history shows that we've borrowed well over 5,000 items since we moved back to our hometown when my kids were babies. They are now 18 and 20. The borrowed items include books, ebooks, comics, DVDs and CDs in the past, and streaming of movies and music. Our library even lends out fishing equipment, snowshoes, and tools. I work in an elementary school that doesn't have a good library. There is a yearly book fair, but many of the kids can't afford to buy anything. This is when I give my annual talk about what the local library offers, how to access everything, and how to build a routine around the library to maximize benefit, get what they're looking for, and minimize lost books and late fees. Their minds are blown that it's free. Story 33. My wife and I still usually order an appetizer and a meal to split between us. Keeps our weight and the bill down. Always look for the cheapest gas station, even if it is only a 1 cent difference. Return bottles. Use YouTube videos to fix whatever I can.